reason you feel stuck. Most people are terrified of boredom, the silence, the empty time, the nothingness. So we fill it with scrolling, with noise, with dopamine on demand. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Boredom isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. In this video, I'm going to show you why boredom is the exact thing that builds focus, discipline, strength, and real confidence, and why escaping it is quietly making people weaker. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll never see boredom the same way again. Let's start with something simple. Boredom feels bad. It feels itchy, restless, uncomfortable. Your brain doesn't like empty space. It wants stimulation. Always. That's why the moment there's nothing to do, your hand reaches for your phone without even thinking. But boredom isn't pain, it's withdrawal. Withdrawal from constant stimulation. For most of human history, boredom was normal. There was silence, waiting, long walks, staring at the sky. Your brain was built for that. What it was not built for is endless short videos, infinite feeds, notifications every few minutes, and entertainment on demand, all day, every day. So when boredom shows up now, it feels wrong, like something that needs to be fixed. But boredom isn't a bug, it's a signal. When boredom hits, most people react the same way. They escape. They scroll social media, open YouTube for just a second, eat when they're not hungry, text someone they don't even like that much, or they start 10 tasks and finish none. Not because they want to, because they can't sit still. Boredom exposes something uncomfortable. You, alone, with your thoughts. No noise, no distraction, no mask. And for a lot of people, that's scary, so they run. But here's the problem. Every time you escape boredom, you teach your brain one thing. I can't handle stillness. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from staying present when your brain wants to quit. Think about training in the gym. The growth doesn't happen during the easy reps. It happens in the uncomfortable ones. The slow reps. The last few seconds where everything burns. Boredom works the same way, but for the mind. When you sit down with boredom and don't escape it, your focus gets sharper, your patience gets longer, your emotional control improves, and your creativity wakes up. That empty space forces your brain to adapt, and adaptation is strength. Here's something wild. Studies have shown that constant stimulation lowers attention span. The more novelty your brain gets, the more it craves it. That's why long videos feel hard to watch. Books feel boring. Silence feels unbearable. And deep work feels exhausting. Your brain is trained to expect rewards every few seconds. Boredom is the reset button. When you remove stimulation, at first, focus feels worse. but then it stabilizes, and then it improves. That's why people who can sit in silence can also study longer, train harder, work deeper, and stay calm under pressure. They've trained that muscle. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's about doing the thing after nothing is happening. Boredom is the gap between intention and action. That gap is where most people fail. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it when I feel motivated. I'll wait until I'm in the mood. But boredom doesn't care about your mood. Boredom asks one question. Will you act, or will you escape? Every time you choose action over escape, discipline grows. Quietly, slowly, permanently. Here's the real problem. We've created a world where boredom is almost impossible, and that's the danger. When boredom disappears, creativity drops, attention collapses, emotional tolerance shrinks, and anxiety increases. Your brain never gets rest, never gets space, never gets to wonder. And wondering is where ideas come from. The best thoughts don't come when you're scrolling. They come when you're bored enough to think. Let me paint you a picture. You wake up, you check your phone, you commute with music or podcasts, you work with multiple tabs open, go to the gym with headphones on, at home you've got YouTube on, and you sleep with noise. When did your brain ever get silence? Never. So when silence finally shows up, your mind panics. That panic isn't weakness, it's dependence. And dependence makes you fragile. Strong people don't need constant noise. They can sit alone, they can wait, they can think. They don't rush to fill space because they trust themselves in it. That's why monks, athletes, artists, and high performers all have one thing in common. They spend time in quiet, not because it's fun, because it's powerful. Here's how boredom actually makes you stronger. When boredom hits, discomfort rises. If you don't escape, the discomfort peaks, then it fades, and then it disappears. You learn that feelings pass. That lesson alone builds emotional strength most people never develop. Waiting without stimulation is hard, but patience is built only one way, by waiting. The more you do it, the easier it gets. When your brain has nothing to consume, it starts to create. That's why ideas show up in the shower, on walks, during long drives. Boredom is the doorway. Without distraction, you notice things, your thoughts, your habits, your fears. That awareness is uncomfortable, but powerful. Here's the key moment most people miss. Boredom doesn't last forever. It only feels endless because you've never stayed long enough to see the other side. On the other side of boredom is calm, clarity, focus, direction. Most people quit too early. They leave right before the reward shows up. You don't need to live in a cave. You just need small amounts of resistance. Start simple. Sit without your phone for 10 minutes. Walk without music. Eat without watching anything. Wait without filling the gap. At first, it will feel annoying, then uncomfortable, then quiet. That quiet is strength forming. Once you can handle boredom, hard work feels easier, waiting feels normal, discipline feels natural, and focus feels calm. You stop needing constant input, you stop reacting, you start choosing, and that's real strength. Boredom isn't empty time, it's training. It's where your mind learns to stand on its own. Every time you escape boredom, you weaken that muscle. Every time you stay, you strengthen it. The strongest people you know, they're not afraid of silence. They use it. If this made you think, watch the next video on screen.